Monarch Origin, a tyrant from the unpleasant future. Hi, this is Simon Canlish and welcome to another Marvelous Videos. All the versions of the character called Monarch introduced by DC Comics have been depicted as a supervillain, regardless of having an initial heroic beginning. In this video, we will traverse the malicious expeditions of the Monarch in great depth. From ruling over a future time frame in a supervillain avatar to locking horns with the exceedingly powerful guardians of the multiverse called the Monitors. The Monarch's adventures had been truly engaging for its audience. So without any further ado, let's dive into them. Before we go into our explanation, we do have a very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks, and let's begin. Monarch Origin. There have been a few multiple incarnations of the Monarch. Hank Hall of the superhero team named Hawk and Dove resemble disorder and violence, in contrast to his brother Dove's representation of order and tranquility. The brothers Hank and Don Hall obtained their powers of magnified strength and reflexes from two lords of chaos and order who were deeply in love with each other. In their attempt to prove to their respective lords that working together as order and chaos unitedly would benefit in maintaining a balance, they chose Hank and Don Hall suitable for their purpose. Eventually, Hank Hall and Don Hall revamped themselves into Hawk and Dove with their newly attained supreme powers. The two siblings worked together on eradicating crime as Hawk and Dove. Despite their diametrically contradictory nature, Hank was given the name of Hawk to reflect his hostile personality. His brother Don Hall had died in the Crisis on Infinite Earth series and was later replaced with Dawn Granger as the new Dove. Marvelous story arc of Monarch. A superhero's villainous transition gave rise to the first Monarch. Hank Hall's transition to a wicked tyrant occurred in the post-apocalyptic Armageddon 2001 future. The storyline of Armageddon 2001 was set in a dystopian future under the reign of an oppressive dictator called Monarch. A scientist named Matthew Ryder was fed up of Monarch's tyranny, along with several others. Upon learning that Monarch was once a superhero who eventually turned wicked in 1991, he decided to travel back in time and prevent Monarch's despotism on account of Ryder's proficiency in temporal studies. But when Ryder found that Monarch was working on a time travel device, he convinced him to let him serve as an experimental subject of the device's trials. Monarch assumed that he would die like the others who underwent the testing of the device, but Ryder gained superpowers as he traveled through time and adopted the title of the Wave Rider. On becoming Wave Rider, Matthew got the power of merging with anyone for a brief period of time just by touching them, and hence was able to see the upcoming events of their lives. Wave Rider tried to identify the hero who turned into Monarch by using that newly acquired power, but Monarch became unaware of Wave Rider's intentions as he observed his actions right after Rider used his time machine. To prevent Rider from wiping off his existence, Monarch eagerly awaited an opportunity to transport to Wave Rider's location efficiently. In one instance, when Wave Rider sought to see Captain Atom's future, the interaction of their powers generated an enormous quantity of quantum energy that resulted in the opening of a portal in the quantum field through which Monarch drove back in time to avert Wave Rider's endeavor to destroy him. In a subsequent conflict with the superhero team known as the Justice League, Monarch killed Dawn Granger, who was the current Dove. The incident infuriated Hank Hall tremendously. Upon getting recreated to complement each other as a whole, despite being two individual beings, the absence of Dove's calming trait due to her death maddened Hall, overflooding him with aggression and ferocity. As Hall's warlike spirit went out of control, he approached to avenge Dove's murder. In a burning rage, Hank killed Monarch as revenge, but was taken aback by realizing that Monarch was actually a future version of himself. Irrespective of being emotionally broken and shocked upon the disclosure of his future, Hank Hall put on the Monarch costume to ensure the natural course of time and maintain the balance of nature. Hank set forth to continue his dead future version's plans. He attempted to pursue Monarch's plan of enslaving humanity via the construction of the device capable of setting his motive into motion. Captain Atom ventured out to defeat the new Monarch on being guilt-ridden of playing an accidental part in the Monarch's arrival in his era. As Monarch clashed with Captain Atom, their energies caused a reaction, leading both of them back to the time of the dinosaurs, which was elaborated in the comics named Armageddon, the alien agenda. After getting teleported to the late Cretaceous period, a Tyrannosaurus Rex attempted to consume Captain Atom, but was overwhelmed by Atom's discharge of powerful blasts. At the same time, a clan of aliens in orbit above the Earth noticed the arrival of Captain Atom and Monarch on the planet. Afterward, in the night, when Monarch blamed Captain Atom for their accidental time travel to the past and attacked him, they were interrupted by dinosaurs who were escaping the clutches of the newly arrived aliens. As Captain Atom and Monarch boarded the alien craft, they were initially told by the aliens that they were looking for ways to return home upon getting lost. But gradually, the real intent of the aliens to destroy the entire solar system, along with the Earth, got uncovered by Captain Atom. Despite successfully stealing the detonator in his attempt to dismantle the shaft, Captain got teleported to Rome. On the other hand, the aliens made an agreement with Monarch. They told him that he would be frozen in time unless a gadget in his containment suit catches the signature of the detonator. They lied to Monarch that upon gaining consciousness after he had killed Captain Atom, he would be sent back to his original timeline by the aliens. But the aliens planned to kill Monarch as well. In Rome, after a massive conflict between Emperor Nero's soldiers and him, Captain Atom again got transported to the Old West. As Captain got involved in a brawl with the West's heroes, Monarch arrived at the spot of conflict, accompanied by an alien warrior and the detonator, after awakening from his dormancy. While fighting Monarch, both got teleported to the era of the Second World War, where the Nazis captured Captain Atom. After defeating the Nazi soldiers and freeing the prisoners from the concentration camp, he made his way to the Pacific Island, where he found Monarch. Atom told Monarch of the real agenda of the aliens, but came to blows with him as Monarch refused to believe him. The detonator exploded again, and Captain Atom successfully returned to his original timeline, but Monarch's fate was kept hidden for some time. In the series known as Extreme Justice, Hank Hall was revealed to be stuck in the quantum field after the events of Armageddon, the alien agenda. The original Captain Atom, who was also trapped there owing to the consequence of an experiment that he had participated in, taught how to control the quantum field. Upon learning the art of time traveling, Hall managed to escape and return to his reality gradually. He sent his Monarch armor back to the quantum field as a gift to Captain Atom. The original Captain Atom became the second Monarch. In continuation of the series Extreme Justice, Captain Atom, aka Nathaniel Adam, used the Monarch armor sent by Hank Hall to escape the quantum field, where he was trapped. As Captain Atom returned to the Earth as the new Monarch, he joined forces with Justice League International's former UN liaison officer, Catherine Colbert. Soon after, Adam's superhero image was exposed to be a pretentious act under the guise of executing his actual malicious intentions. The second Monarch's ulterior motive of misusing genetic implants to subjugate the human population was foiled by the Justice League superhero, Booster Gold. Afterwards, this version of the Monarch's existence was uncertain. A quantum field replica of the Captain Atom's adventures as the third Monarch. The third version of the Monarch was a quantum field replica of Nathaniel Adam. After escaping the Wildstorm universe, he was physically assaulted by the Monitor Solomon. The Monitor damaged Atom's Dillastel shell, which was made up of the skin of the alien named Silver Shield, when he was a volunteer of the US government's Project Atom. That metallic substance allowed Captain Atom to connect with the quantum field. After holding Monarch captive, the Atomic Knights utilized the leaked radiation from the Atom's Dillastel skin to conduct radiation treatments on mutants. They also equipped him with a nano-weave version of the Monarch's armor. After escaping their confinements anyhow, Monarch became determined to knock down the protectors of the newly formed multiverse of 52 Earths called the Monitors. As Monitor Solomon of Earth 8 considered people who hopped universes as inconveniences that should be eliminated, he managed to brainwash the other Monitors into believing his ideology. Solomon's assault of the daughter of Harlequin and Joker, called Dula Dent, alongside several other violent measures, enraged the Monarch. In response, Monarch trapped multiple versions of superheroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, etc., forcing them to fight each other to death in a combat zone. In the fight arranged by Monarch to choose his team members, the Batman of Earth 19, 40, and 43 were paired against each other. In the battleground, the Batman of Earth 19 and Earth 40 united against their vampire Batman version of Earth 43, who became so after conquering Dracula. Before the human Batmen were successful in stabbing a dagger into his chest, the vampire Batman tricked the Batman of Earth 40 into severely impairing the Earth 19 Batman. Although the vampire Batman bit the Batman of Earth 40 and overthrew him out of the arena, Monarch removed them from the fighting forum and kept the Batman of Earth 19 in a state of status as his backup. Monarch then made the Ray of Earth 10 and Ray Palmer of Earth 6 compete against Apollo of Earth 50 because of their solar-powered connection. After killing the Ray of Earth 10 for attempting to escape the arena, Monarch kept Apollo in status alongside the Earth 19 Batman after Ray Palmer thoroughly wounded him. In the combat between the Green Lanterns of Earth 5, 12, and 32, the trio teamed up and surrounded themselves with a green field to protect Monarch from watching their actions. As soon as Monarch entered the arena to investigate, he was attacked by the Green Lanterns unanimously. The Green Lantern of Earth 32 struck Monarch's face by directing an extremely intense blast at him. The explosion damaged the faceplate of Monarch's armor and killed the Green Lantern of Earth 5. The first one to regain consciousness among the Green Lanterns of Earth 12 and 32 was Hal Jordan of Earth 12. Monarch recruited him as his team member and held the Earth 32 Green Lantern in status. Among the Wonder Woman of Earth 18, 21, and 34, Wonder Woman of Earth 34 was enrolled in Monarch's strike force. Johnny Quick of Earth 3, aka Earth 2 Flash, won the fight against Jay Garrick of Earth 2, and Leah Nelson of Earth 9 and hence was also recruited. Starwoman of Earth 7 defeated the Starman of Earth 48 once he overpowered the Starman of Earth 17 on entering their fighting arena. In the series, there was a continuous strain in the relationship between the Earth 31 American Superman and his Russian counterpart of Earth 30. In the combat, the Superman of Earth 16, aka Christopher Kent, helped his other two counterparts of Earth 30 and 31, who were fatally affected by radiation. The trio then unitedly retaliated against Monarch. Chris sucked up quite an amount of his other two versions and evolved into a glowing red colossal entity. As the Superman of Earth 16, with his intensified strength, approached to beat Monarch to his defeat, he fell short in front of the Monarch's powers and died in the process. As the captured superheroes grasped the relationship between Monarch and Captain Atom, the superhero Breach expressed his determination to overpower Monarch to them. The ongoing combat between the Supermen was then disrupted by all possible versions of Captain Atom from the multiverse, whom Breach had brought along with him to knock Monarch down. But Monarch absorbed all of their atomic powers instead and became even more powerful. At that moment, it was revealed that Breach was actually brainwashed by Monarch and was his accomplice. Ted Cord of Earth 33 was constructing a cross-dimensional harness to aid Superman's 31's mission to defeat the Monarch, but got killed, and Breach used it to transport Captain Atom's nuclear-powered alternate version as a part of Monarch's plan to strengthen himself. But eventually, Breach broke free of Monarch's mind control and handed over the fully charged teleporter device created by Ted to the Superman of Earth 31 and helped him escape. Monarch murdered Breach for his betrayal and disclosed that Breach was only rescued and manipulated by him to lure all the Captain Atoms of every reality to extract their powers. Hence, at the end of the battle, the only one remaining in the fighting arena among the three combatants was the Superman of Earth 30, who was Captain Atom of Earth 30 protected. Monarch then recruited him as his last team member. He then made the interdimensional plane, serving as the barrier to parallel dimensions called the Bleed, as his operational base. He appointed the Forerunner to train his troops, as he offered her the designation of general in his private army after manipulating her against the Monitors. Monarch further convinced Lord Havoc of Earth 8 to lead them. Later, Monarch sucked up the energy of Captain Atom Brigade and strengthened himself after defeating him in combat. He led his army to overpower the Monitors by keeping Earth 51 as his battleground. When Monarch was almost on the verge of triumph, he was severely attacked by Superman Prime. Superman Prime, after resurrecting subsequent to the end of the Sinestro Corps War, intimidated Monitor Solomon to find his perfect Earth upon reaching his satellite headquarters. Solomon fooled Prime into believing Earth 51 to be what he had been searching for so desperately. Solomon further convinced him that his perfect Earth had resulted in shatters due to Monarch's war against the Monitors. A brutal and violent battle ensued, with Prime finally gaining the upper hand over Monarch. Exhausting his cosmic powers, Prime tore Monarch's nano-weave armor, which protected him against adverse conditions. The destruction of Monarch's armor generated severe blasts and demolished everything on that Earth except a unique plant, acquiring protective layers along with the Monitor of that Earth. It was later realized that Monitor Solomon's attack on the newly returned Captain Atom's armor and rupturing his skin mainly triggered Atom's conversion into Monarch as his act of vengeance against the Monitors. How powerful was Monarch? The Monarch possessed great strength, to the extent of being capable enough to defeat 3 versions of Superman and Wonder Woman simultaneously. His ability to absorb energies reinforced him, and additional vigor helped him outperform his enemies easily. The Monarch had expertise in energy manipulation. His capabilities include producing high energy bubbles and changing an element's state through the art of atomic transmutation. Monarch's unique skill of drawing out the stamina of a superhero and leaving the victim devoid of his previous powers established him as a scary rival. Upon directing his complete focus on the art of time traveling, Monarch was victorious in traveling to the future for a short duration before coming back to his original time. Monarch was also adept in flying with superhuman velocities and could even cover intergalactic distances. The Monarch's potential of erupting blast of energy from his eyes and glove inflicted severe injuries on his rivals, weakening them. His armor, upgraded with a nano-weave formula, made it capable of containing leakages. Monarch's almost unbreakable Delustelle metallic skin, resistant to immense levels of impairment from heat, energy, lasers, etc., made him very powerful indeed. The creators Archie Goodwin and Denny O'Neil's initial plan of making Captain Atom the first Monarchs getting cancelled owing to the premature leaking of the climax of the comics had given us a fascinating alternate storyline, as the first Monarch with his successor, Captain Atom, Hank Hall, gave a completely intriguing twist to this character's development. And if you liked our content, well, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.